Welcome back to the Market with Mario podcast. Today we have Fred Mahusai with Fred Shots Photography here with us in the studio. Welcome, Fred.
Hey, thanks for having us on there, Mario.
Yeah, it's been way too long. I know I've known you for many, many, many years.
That's right. I'm thinking close to a decade.
Oh, yeah, it has to be close to a decade because Trinity is 17 now.
Hey.
And so, yeah, she was about 6 or 7 when she was running around networking.
So does that mean
with us.
Eliana wasn't even born yet?
Yeah, or she was like
Or
barely
just,
on the scene.
Wow.
So it's been a minute. So today I really wanted to kind of talk to our audience about the importance of just your image, your brand, but specifically when it comes to headshots. You are an accomplished headshot photographer, done many things with family portraits, other things, but today we really want to focus on the headshot photography. And so, when you're looking at a website and you start clicking around, you're trying to get some sense of who these people are. So kind of talk to us about the companies that don't have maybe even About Us page or a Meet the Team page without their executive team or their employees. What's the opportunity cost there, do you think?
Well, we are a I got to know society. I mean, when it comes to anything nowadays, when someone says, "Hey, did you see that Duflachi whatever?" the first thing we do is jump on our phone and we start looking this thing up. A lot of people had no idea about the Stanley insulated cup thing, and all of a sudden people are just I didn't get a chance to look at exactly how that was trending in terms of searches, but I'm sure it was right up there because all of a sudden my friends were like, "Anybody got a Stanley?" and I'm like, why? So when it comes to your company, if you don't have a strong online presence, if you don't have a current or current visual presence about your company, then people are going to wonder if you're legitimate. People are going to wonder, because unfortunately we are a viral and trending society. So if you don't have something that is attractive to the eye, and that's not saying everyone has to be good-looking GQ type models, but if you don't have a well-composed headshot, then people are going to look at your company and go, maybe they're using more stock imagery, maybe they're not really as serious as they say, or maybe they can't actually deliver on what they're proposing. So when it comes to your company, I try to do my research when a new client contacts me. I look and see, well, what do they have currently? And, I ask myself a couple questions. What do I believe they're dissatisfied with? And ultimately, that's one of the questions I ask is, what do you like about your current headshot? What would you change? And how are you going to use this? Because with the executive teams, there's certain things they always want to deliver a sense of stability, a sense of professionalism, a sense of also that they're very contemporary. And so, a lot of them, I hate to say it, they have that, there are some department stores that had a photo studio in them.
I know exactly which one you are talking
That's
about,
right.
and probably the folded arms look.
That's right.
And all that, yeah.
And all that look, and that is so, it's not really relatable today. There is the upper demographic of my target audience, they're on up there. Let's say they're seasoned in their years, and they do inquire about that look. And I tell them, I said, that has a place, and it does show a history. But in many aspects, it's like looking at the new Mustang versus a classic like '65 Mustang. We don't disrespect the older Mustang, but we know that the future is in the newer model. So that's why I try to relate to my clients however they are. But if you're a company and you don't have a well-rounded visual presence, especially of your leadership or your executive team, then I believe that is costing you big time, because people are going to look and wonder, is there a good foundation there?
Yeah, you brought up two really good points in all of that. My takeaways were, one of which, the stability and the professionalism. So if you are say, a technology firm, if someone's going to hire your company, they may look and see, are they big enough to even have the capabilities to serve our
That's right.
company? And so, if you have one person on your About Us or no people whatsoever, and they can't get a feel for that team, they may think, oh, they're too small, they can't support
That's right.
a company of our size.
Absolutely.
And are they stable enough? And then the professionalism as well. So if you have a bunch of iPhone pictures on there, then it's like, well, they don't take their company seriously.
That's right.
So that's a really good point as far as the stability and the professionalism there. So really think about, if you're a business out there, how much is that costing your business by having your website just be void of your executive team on there? It's 2024, and we cannot talk about headshots and marketing without talking about AI.
Oh, yes.
And we do video production, and there's a lot of people that are making videos now with AI and Chat GPT and all that. And I've seen some headshots through my feed come through with AI. What do you think? How do you think that represents a business? What do you think about this AI trend of headshots? I have an idea of what you might say, but kind of talk to us about, should my business outsource our executive team photos to AI?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you put me on the spot. I got to walk a line because I have friends and colleagues that are using some sort of AI to generate their headshot, and I respect that because it is new, it is something exciting, it's different, and you can be in your office, you can be in front of the Eiffel Tower, you can be wherever it is that you want to be. And, I've actually been exploring this now for probably a year, and just constantly running new models and feeding new cues and descriptors, trying to see what it can do. And I can tell you that it's good, but I don't think it's that good. And selfishly as a photographer, I'm saying, man, if y'all go that route, then I'm done with that vein of my business. But more importantly, is that these AI headshots aren't realistic looking. For some odd reason, the people who are programming the AI for the headshots are instantly throwing in glamorous and gorgeous and all these other things that. I've seen these photos and I'm like, man, that's really good. And I want to tell them, but that's not you. That's not you. And so I've stood by this since day one of really targeting the professional corporate headshot, that people, they want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And if your business card, if your website, if your LinkedIn has one image of you, and then they meet you in real life and they see that there's a strong contrasting difference, somewhere in the back of their mind they're thinking, I don't know, it sounds like you're selling me a bill of goods, or we're doing bait and switch here.
Yes.
Where it looks really good and it's marketed really well, kind of like some of these websites where you can get a 4K drone for $15, or all these different things that you know those sites, and I think that the same is true with the AI headshot, that if you aren't confident enough to represent yourself, the real you, on your website, then are you truly representing the product or the service or the delivery that you say that you can do, because you're relying on AI? And for me, I do look at that, and it is attractive. Where I've seen you can get 30 different looks for $15. And will there be a time that can actually accurately represent you? Sure, I see it coming. It's also kind of scary because, who's to say what's real or not real anymore? And we talked earlier about the, let's say it's an IT company, and they're about the team is only one person. or the whole bunch of iPhone photos. And that's something that truly, I believe, has spurred on the whole AI thing, because we're a gig economy and a lot of people don't go to an office anymore. So, they need a photo of themselves. And I mean, I've got a iPhone, Android, whatever, and I'm just going to take a picture. And if from the comfort of my home and $15 to $50 later, I can have several looks, that is attractive.
Right.
And in general, the removal of the distracting background and the ability to put on professional looking attire without actually having to go and buy it. Because I still have clients show up to the studio and they're ripping tags off of shirts and ties, and or ladies with dresses, and they're like tucking the tag, and I want to say stuff like, "You're not going to return that, right? This
yeah.
isn't renting, right?" So that is, I can see why that is so attractive and appealing. But until they get the AI tuned or detuned to where it actually represents the person, because every single AI model that I've run and that I've seen, they automatically, lift the cheeks, slenderize the face, brighten up the eyes, all these things, and fill in hair and all the other stuff. And I'm like, that's just a little bit too far. The AI headshot is like the glamour shots from the 80s and 90s,
Right.
Where I see it and I'm like, okay, I say that's good, but so if you're thinking about doing an AI headshot, I say go ahead and explore it, because you owe it to yourself to see. But I believe that also plays negatively to the psyche of the person, because I'm intimately aware of how I look and how I feel about how I look. We all can't be strapping and swole like Mario.
Oh, come on.
And so I think I get this AI headshot. I really like that, which means I like showing that. I like hiding myself. I like promoting that and demoting myself. And I believe that can play negatively even into when it comes time to have either a phone conversation or a face-to-face, to where now I think less of myself or poorly of myself, because I've been using this synthetic of who I'm not. So I believe that there are two sides to that, and it could be detrimental on the side of client facing, and it could be detrimental back to myself, because it's not really who I am.
No, those are all great points, especially the part about, what are you communicating to someone who is going to hire your firm?
Mm-hmm.
If you cut corners here, where else are you cutting corners?
That's right.
But if they see that you have professional, looking website, professional headshots, maybe a corporate professional video, they see that you take your business serious. But the point that you made that's even further on that is the trust.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like business catfishing, if
That's
you
right.
will, to
That's
where,
right.
okay, we're going to have this corporate lunch, and I've looked you up on LinkedIn, your site, and then I meet you in person, like, who is this
That's right.
person?
That's right.
And so, yeah, you have to have an accurate representation, and you guys do a really good job of making people feel comfortable, giving them that confidence. That's what part of hiring you is about, to have you guide them in looking their best, their true best. Because I know a lot of people come to you and they're like, oh my gosh, I look terrible on camera and this and that, and you always do a good job of making them look great and professional. They're like, how did you do this? Like, this is you. This has always been there.
That's right.
But
And
that's y'all's gift, is bringing that out.
Yes, what we like to tell people is that there are headshots and then there are Fred shots.
Okay.
And there are certain things that, and so, if you're a parent out there and you have children, and when it comes time for taking a photo of them, you tell them to stand up straight, we all do this number, we tuck it in, and that's what we take to school for the next 12 years on photo day. I mean, it's grip and grin. They just run you through, place your feet here, sit up straight, and say cheese, and everyone looks like, for the people who have tuned in just for audio, I'm sorry, check out the video.
Yes.
You got to see it.
You got to see that.
I would say, you look like a three-chin constipated psychotic killer, because you're, all those things. And so through years and years and thousands of headshot clients, coast to coast, I have for myself taken cues from other established photographers and put them all together into a system along with the gear and with the lighting and all those other things, and figured out how to really find how people look and how they should look. That will be captured in the frame, and and that is a challenge. It's one that I embrace. And my last clients, I don't know how many, when they come to the studio, we shoot, we review, and many times, by the time they've gotten into their car and have started to pull out down my street, I'm already sending their headshot images to them, because it's just one of those things that there's been so much practice, so much repetition, so much refining, and to the point to where, yes, I want people to like me. More importantly, I want them to like themselves.
That's so good.
And that they can say, man, that is me. And that notion of, remember, I talked about the whole AI thing, and that's the part that, really was on the scene for me before AI came into place, was that I want people to be happy with who they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I do believe that we're all fearfully and wonderfully made, and we can't play the competition game. Well, I'm not photographic because I'm not him, or I'm not her, and I don't have this, or I don't have that. It's like it's never about that. And and I've had more often than not, I've had some of my female the ladies who've come in for headshots. I mean, they're leaving in tears, not tears but they're sad, but tears that they're happy that they're saying, I never knew I looked like that. And I was like, well, that's because we're always doing, we're always tucking our chin and standing up straight and doing all the things that sabotage us in front of the camera.
Right.
Now, on the flip side of that, I always tell people you'll need 3 or 4 things once you leave a headshot session with me. You'll need a chiropractor, a massage therapist, and a psycho counselor, because you'll say stuff like, it was weird, it was awkward, it was painful, but I really like it, and I think you should do that too.
Yes.
That's kind of like enabling. But really, it's a matter of just seeing people for who they are and realizing where it is that we've gotten into a pattern or a routine when the camera comes out, and just undoing that. And it's at that moment of, you want me to do what? If I can get them to trust me, and usually it's not a, will you trust me? It's just, I just talk to them, find out more about them, which actually, I believe, helps to relax them, and, it just gives me another point of referral, because, I've had people from banks, attorneys, I've had entrepreneurs who are engineers, all these people, and somewhere along the way, I believe that I can connect them with someone else that'll make a difference in their business. So,
That's
so
right.
what can I do? How can I help you to have more confidence in you? And then how can I, move you down the road to your next big win, or whatever it is that you're looking for.
Yeah, no, I love all of that. That's I love the approach that you take to your photography and to your headshots. You did mention the studio that you have. Let's talk to the mid-sized business, to where maybe their employees don't want to come to the office. They want you to show up there and kind of just shoot the whole team and the executive team and all those different types of things, because they're going to need some kind of brand consistency. There's
Absolutely.
nothing worse when I see a website, one person is in front of a brick wall,
Yes.
the other person has a white screen, this person has a gray screen. It's just all over the place. There's no brand consistency. So kind of speak to us, what does it look like? Because we know that you've been hired to go, even out of town, out of state. We're here in McKinney, Texas, but you've gone all over to where they'll hire you to come in and shoot their whole team. What does that look like from a time standpoint for them? So they just want to knock everybody out and have, again, that consistent background at their place for efficiency for them.
Sure.
Kind of speak to us about that corporate look like
Absolutely. It depends. Like I said, one of our questions is, how are you going to use this headshot? And so for companies that have contacted us about, we need to basically, revamp and relaunch or rebrand, or clean up. There are several companies that said we just need to clean up the look, because it's true that modeled look, that checkered sort of about our team, where it's completely different the whole way down, that really does lose a lot of the luxury class. If you think there are styling cues, like you can tell a BMW is coming at you down the road, whether it's 40 years old or it's brand new, because there are styling cues on there. The same thing with Hondas and Volkswagens and all the others. They have certain elements about them that are consistent, and we like that consistency. And so when it comes to these larger companies, it's funny because I've got a company here locally that their executive team is only 7, but they want me for 5 hours. And so we're still talking through it, but they're wanting their executive team in multiple settings. And then there are some other companies where we photograph not only the executive team but the entire company body, 180 something people, and that was just over 2 days. And so we have the means to bring the studio to our clients, and one of the things that gives us our look is that we don't use strobes. We use steady lights. We use LEDs, some of the brightest, most compact. So, I've set up in offices that this table wouldn't fit in there, and done, I don't know, 20, 30 people in a day. And then, but other places, they actually have like warehouse studio space, and I just lay it all out, whether it's headshots or full body, to where they can cut them out and put them onto whatever. And I'm not saying that, we talked about the brick background or the whatever. I've actually got a company that they're a law firm based in Oklahoma. And the initial round of headshots that they had done in Oklahoma were in one of their offices. And, it's got a look to it, and it's very clean and very consistent, very, very, very classy. And they called me in and said, we've got this office down here in Dallas, and we've got these 10 people. We need them looking just like it is on the web. And so, I spent the night just looking at that, staring at one website at everybody's headshot, and I was like, can I do this? Can I do this? And so looking at the cues and the eyes, where's the lighting, looking at all the shadow. And so I said, I can. I said, but these are my stipulations. And can you accommodate that in your Dallas branch? And they said yes. And so I shot them, and I said, now I need you to send me someone's headshot from the Oklahoma office. And then I just dropped them in on top of that. So, if you have an existing company look and you need that matched, if it's not something, truly exotic, I believe that we can do it. Otherwise, for other companies, they're like, we just want something clean and consistent. And so, you have your choice of solid backgrounds or environmental one in your location. And then I take copious notes. My phone right now is sitting at 53,000 images, lots of random things. But then there are folders of actual setups from my companies where I measure out everything, the settings on the cameras, the distance of light stands to backdrops and things like that, so that if they call me back. I've got some companies I've been serving for almost a decade, giving them the same look over and over again, and that's like their recipe. So big or small, your company should have a clean, consistent look, because once again, it speaks to the stability of your company and the professionalism. Kind of like if you go to a major coffee chain, you order your beverage. If you go to any of the other retail locations and you order that beverage, you're going to get the same exact thing, that consistency. So where they offer it in a cup, I offer it in a photo.
I love it. And having that look will definitely pay off in so many ways. Revenue, recruiting, because think if you're a potential employee and you're looking, who are these people I want to work for?
That's right.
And you get that warm, fuzzy feeling just based on the photos. So if you are the marketing director, CEO, COO type, and you're looking for that brand refresh, to hire you guys for headshots, what is the next step they need to take to hire Fred Schatz Photography? What does that look like?
Well, they can do several things. We recommend that primarily you go to the website at fredshots.com, and you get a good idea of the scope of headshots that we do, as well as the other imagery. And if they have further questions, well, they can email us info@fredshots.com, or they can call 469-718-9749. And we're more than happy to have that dialogue, that conversation, to find out what is it specifically that you need, and what is your budget, what is your timeline, how do you want this delivered, and ultimately, if you already know what you want and you know the time and the date and you're ready to go, you can go to that website and you can schedule your session online right now, whether you come to our studio there in Craig Ranch or we come to your location. Now, of course, for our out-of-state, out-of-town folks, that definitely is phone call, text, email, because the website, can't factor that part in. But for the most part, most of my clients, they literally just go to the website and say, okay, I need either a headshot for 1, a headshot for 3, half a day, a whole day, and they can book it online.
That's outstanding, and it makes it easy for them too. Another value add.
Absolutely.
It's all about convenience and less friction. So, really appreciate you coming on the show and sharing your expertise, and definitely looking forward to continuing to send headshot referrals y'all's way. Y'all always do a great job over the years, so really appreciate you coming on. So if you're out there, again, you're the marketing director of your company or the CEO, and you are looking for that refresh, and go to your Meet the Team page right now and just look at it. Are you happy with that? Would people hire your firm based on that? If not, we need you to call Fred with Fred Shots and set up that consultation. Go to his website, fredshots.com. And again, if you need a professional video, we would love to help you with that as well here at Market with Mario. And remember, when you market with Mario, you profit with Mario.